Yo, what up? Welcome inside the opening line, Corey and Benny. Coming at you on a Friday morning, Benny. Once again, another Friday morning with a forward pass is 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 under review because I don't think certain teams in the NFL know how to do it. Another dud on Thursday night last night.
Yeah, it wasn't bad for your Jaguars, though. I know you were all over the Jaguars, so that worked out well. Worked out well from
Guess who got cold feet at the end?
Oh no, you pulled it off?
Pulled it off. Got cold feet at the end.
Oh man. Oh, I'll tell you what, I made a little bit of money last night. We did the Thursday live stream, cashed all of the showdown slate, lineups that I put in there. My boy Tajay Sharp went for 10x for me yesterday at $800. Put up I think 9 fantasy points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for $800 that's 10 11x, and it let me fit in my boy Gardner Minshew, who had the big game, and Derrick Henry, who got a touchdown, and DJ Shark, who scored and found the end zone. So not a bad night for me overall. Got some extra cash to basically lose back to everybody else on Sunday playing some NFL football.
That's what these game days are about, getting ready for Sunday, Saturday and Sunday. I had a Wilds finish last night with the between Houston and Tulane. I was on Tulane. They went down 21-7 early, rallied back, and won the game. 38-31 after being down. I think it was 28-7.
Okay.
In the first half, they came back. I called Jim Day at halftime. I got to hedge this. The hedge ended up not working, but the original teaser ended up. Well, it continues tonight, but I got the first leg down last night with the Tulane Green Wave, who don't wear green uniforms no more. It's wild as shit. I turn on the TV. I'm like, why is Tulane wearing blue?
Yeah, that would be confusing to me if I had turned it on.
Benny, Houston, 74% of the money bet last night was on Houston. Houston was a 5.5 point. Who is this? Houston was a 5.5 point underdog, right?
I did hear some people on Twitter kind of bitching about them blowing it. I didn't see what happened because I was watching the NFL game, but go ahead.
The score, well, obviously the game starts 0-0. Houston scores, go up 7-0. Tulane comes down and scores 7-7. Houston goes on a run 28-7. Tulane comes back. The Tulane did not cover that number, Benny, until the last play of the game.
Oh, that's a bad beat. That's a bad beat if you're on the Houston.
Horrible beat if you're on the Houston side. The last play of the game was the only time throughout the course of the game that Houston wasn't covering that number.
That's tough, man. Yeah. I mean, I've been – listen, that was me 2 weeks ago with the Houston Texans. They were up that entire game, and then Jacksonville scores in the last freaking 30 seconds, and all of a sudden I'm losing that bet. So, that's why they play the whole game. That's what gambling's all about. So, Corey, let me ask you something because, again, I'm not a big college football guy. It's not really my thing. The way the swings go in college football, though, like where teams do go up 2 touchdowns and wind up losing and stuff like that, is there a big in-game betting market for college football? And is there value to be found there? I mean, because yesterday,
the toughest thing to bet in college football, the toughest bets in the toughest in-game bets are the college football in-game bets.
Really? See, I would think they're easier because there's more swings.
No, it's very tough to hit a college football in-game bet. Those numbers are real sharp. Like last night, they said it was 28-14 at halftime. Like 70.5. These two teams were going up and down the field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Third quarter starts, first drive, Tulane starts milking the clock. Then I'm like, oh my God, it slowed down. You know what I'm saying? All the bets are hard to hit in-game bets. It's almost like you should just stick with your original bet in college football.
So that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, like the way that the leads change and things go back and forth, if it's probably almost like you could probably get better odds most of the time if you wait until a situation in game as opposed to taking a pre-flop is what I was saying.
Yeah. I mean, before the scoring gets out of whack, like in the game starts, then a team drops from minus 200 to minus 145, something like that.
All right, so it's not like a huge move is what I was saying. Like you're not like the other day. Like here's a good example. The other day in the second quarter of the Kansas City game, Kansas City was down 10-7. I got the Chiefs -3 at at like minus 110, like basically like just paying a little bit of juice on it.
Yeah.
In the NFL, sometimes if you wait, like they had a bad drive or two in the first half where they didn't score. Sometimes when you're in game and you get much better odds. Now, again, to get -3 on the Chiefs pre-flop before that game, I probably would have been laying -200, -250. You know what I'm saying? So to get it in game at -110, you had to, and again, it wasn't like I was waiting for it or looking for it. I just happened to be online flipping through the lines in between while I looked at the score. And I was like, oh, Chiefs -3, 110. Then Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns in the second quarter and made me look like a genius. But sometimes if you're just there at the right time with some of these games, you can catch something good like that in the NFL. In college, I was wondering if it was kind of the same thing. Because like I said, I don't bet college often.
In college, what I would do is the thing with college football, betting college football, is these Power 5 primetime games, the big 3:30 game, the big 7:30 game. I would bet those games. And I don't bet those games.
Okay.
The numbers are real sharp on those games. Right. I would bet those games in game. Now the group of 5, like last night, Houston and Tulane.
Right.
Those games are money makers. You know what I'm saying? Those big like this weekend, Georgia and Notre Dame. Everybody's going to have a bet on that game. I won't. I may play like a passing yards prop or something like that. But you can't bet those games. Those games are set up for you to fail because all eyes are on that game.
So you could you find softer lines, I assume, on like, betting on Maction or taking like, Sun Belt Conference games as opposed to the Pac-10 and all that stuff is what you're saying. All right, that makes a lot of sense to me because, I mean, those power conference games are probably going to be the ones that most, the average sports bettor coming along is going to be betting on. So, I mean, if you're a sharp and you really want to make some money betting college football, figure out
5. Yep.
Yeah, figure out who the good teams are in the non-big conferences, and you're probably going to find some messed up lines on some of those games.
Yeah, and you catch that last night. Houston was coming off a big win, you know what I'm saying? But Tulane is a better team. Houston's quarterback may be able to play in the NFL. He's real good. De'Aaron King. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. All right, let's get ready, Benny, to take a last look at this weekend. The Colts laying 1 point to the Falcons. I love the Colts in this spot right here. I like them even better getting only 1. It's down to 1 now. The one concern I have with the Colts this week, Benny, is Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, I mean, he should be a concern. I mean, this is a guy who's talking about retiring as soon as they can find his replacement. And they've been bringing guys in this week to kick to see if they can find his replacement so that he can just kind of walk off into the sunset. Doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me, and the way he's kicked in the first 2 games, he's missed a couple already, so that doesn't really instill confidence. With that being said, I'm with you here, Corey. I'm on Indianapolis. I mean, people basically thought that, well, they don't have Andrew Luck, they're going to suck now. The reason why everybody was so high on them is because the pieces they put around Andrew Luck this year are probably the best set of pieces they've ever had around them. Great offensive line, solid running game. The defense is decent. So I'm with you. I still think I like the Indianapolis side of this game.
Yeah, even though listen, it's tough. This is the first time this season that the Colts are laying points. They were catching points the first 2 weeks. Should have won both games outright. But they really should have blew the Chargers out. But Vinatieri's missing these kicks is troublesome to me. What I will say, I met Adam Vinatieri before. Nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's just like you wouldn't think he was a football player. He's a very unassuming man. Like you wouldn't think he was like maybe the greatest clutch kicker in history.
I was going to say he is a kicker. Some people don't consider them football players anyway, but
true.
Vinatieri is one that does make the list in my eyes, though. That's legit.
He's about as clutch as it gets. The big matchup in the 1 o'clock slate, Benny. Benny, do you break your games up? I want to know where I'm at 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do the math of where I'm at 1 o'clock. So I'll have like a 1 o'clock parlay. I'll stake them all separately. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think you should set your bets up that way. I think it makes sense for you. Again, not all the time, but you definitely should be looking at it because sometimes there'll be, like you said, like if there's 3 teams that I like in a parlay, sometimes instead of doing a 3-team parlay, I'll do the 2-teamer and then I'll see how it works out. If I hit the first 2 legs of it, then I'll just whatever I won on that. If I want to press it, I'll press it on the 4 o'clock game. But yeah, I definitely do. Even for DFS, there's a lot of times for DFS I do the same exact thing where I'm like, all right, I'm going to take these guys early along with the studs playing in 4 o'clock so that if either one of these 3 teams goes off, then I know I'm going into the 4 o'clock game with a team that just went off and the best players playing at 4 o'clock. And then there are other times where I won't have, or like last week was a good example. The 1 o'clock games last week weren't all that high scoring. So if you had a lineup that still had a lot of guys left over last week, you could have been like, screw it, I'm just going to go all in on Kansas City and put like all different pieces of all those wide receivers, hoping one of them goes off. And that's actually how some people wound up winning some of the qualifiers last week that were, 100, 200 people. They just basically game stacked Kansas City. And even with a 0 here and there, if you had the Marcus Robinson and you had Mecole Hartman and, you skipped all the guys that got hurt in the Eagles game and all the guys in the Saints game that didn't do anything, that was what it took to win. So I definitely think there is value looking at what time the games are and kind of setting up your betting day or even your fantasy day, with the 1 and 4 o'clock games in mind.
How's it going chasing the well, I guess you just started. It's only going into week 3. How's it been trying to hit the king of the beach?
I had a couple that were top 10, but what I'm doing, I'll tell everybody so everybody knows. I play the $100 qualifier, right? Because when you look at the King of the Beach, there's like a $5 one, there's a $1 one with like 10,000 entries. There's a $5,000, there's a $5 one with like 1,000, 2,000 entries. The $100 one only has 130 entries in it. So if you're going to throw a lot, and there's usually 3 of them every weekend. They give out 3 seats every weekend in a $100 qualifier. You can win a tournament with 130 people.
Yeah.
So I don't mind chasing that one because if I chase it for the season, there's a chance that I'm going to hit. I may not hit it.
At some point.
Yeah, I may piss away $1,000 playing it. I've been playing 2 a week, so I may piss away $2,000 playing it over the 10 weeks. But I'm making money playing cash games and stuff like that, so that kind of puts it down. But you can win a tournament with 135 people in it. So if you're chasing one of these live finals, to me, that's the easiest one to chase this year over on DraftKings. Plus, Corey, you know how much I love Miami. So if I'm going to win and go anywhere, I'll gladly go back to Miami for another weekend, especially if it's on DraftKings time.
Our boy is having a bachelor party in Miami, MLK weekend.
Yep.
Renting the house, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Were you on that email thread?
Yeah, I am on that email thread. The problem is I don't know if I'm going to be in town that weekend, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it down there. But I would have gone down there, man. I love Speeds. He's a good dude. Shout
out to my man, Spitting Speeds. It's very well you may see me in Miami, but then the Super Bowl's in Miami too, so we'll see. Anyway, there's more important things, Benny. Baltimore catching 5.5 on the road versus Kansas City. Here goes that crooked number. Crooked number last week, Dallas blew out Washington. Crooked number in week 1, Tennessee blew out Cleveland. I don't think this is going to be a blowout.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout either. This spread actually started at 7.
Yeah.
So it's actually come back to to the Ravens side. You're not getting as many points as you were. I'm going to be honest, Corey. This is a game that I think is going to wind up being pretty high scoring.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a shootout, even though the Ravens have a good defense. I don't really want to touch this game in terms of the spread or the total. Well, maybe the over on the total, but probably not. To me, this is a game where you're trying to look for production. Like when the props come out, I want to see what like Lamar Jackson's passing prop is because quarterbacks tend to put up their ceiling games against Kansas City because they're usually forced to throw more to kind of keep up. I want to look at the touchdown props for some of these wide receivers. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to this game probably in fantasy, as will a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to have it. I think there's going to be more chalk here. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought these 2 quarterbacks would be some of the chalkiest on the week. Looking at the DraftKings, projected ownership, they got like Mahomes at like 8%. They got Lamar Jackson at like 5%. I would have thought both of these guys would have been closer to 10%. So if people are sleeping on this game, this is a game that I think I'm going to end up having more exposure to than the field.
No, I would agree with you on that one. I like the over. I wouldn't touch this 5.5. The Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills laying 6 at home. I love the Bengals getting the 6 in this spot, Benny.
Yeah, like I said, the Buffalo's beaten 2 JV teams so far. So, we don't really know how good they are. And I really don't think that the Buffalo Bills are 6 points better than a lot of teams in the league. I think the Bengals are pretty solid. They've shown, even without A.J. Green, that, they actually kind of have it together a little bit this year. So I'm with you on that one. If I bet anything here, it's the Bengals side with the points. Give me the points. I'm not taking them straight up. Give me the points.
John Ross leads the NFL in receiving. Andy Dalton is like second in passing yards. Mm-hmm. I think this is a good spot. You like the Bills to win the game, though?
I think they can. I put it this way. I feel more comfortable taking the Bengals getting the points just in case.
Yeah.
I don't think I would bet this game. Like, I wouldn't bet Buffalo to win straight up either. To me, the best way to bet this game is take the points with the Bengals, because even if Buffalo does beat them, it'll be like, a last-second field goal on one of these teams or something.
Denver and Green Bay. The Broncos are 7.5-point underdogs to Green Bay at Lambeau Field. I'm on the Broncos this week.
7.5 is a lot of points.
Yep.
I teased this down to it was 7 the other day. I teased it down to 1.
Yeah.
To take Green Bay at home. Green Bay winning by 1 at home is what I did. I don't really like them to win by more than a touchdown. It's not like this has been an offense that's putting up a ton of points so far this year. So
I don't this season for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I see the Green Bay Packers winning, but I don't think they cover 7.5.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. If you parlay the Bills and the Packers, you get to that -126. That's not enough to deal with the Buffalo Bills. On Detroit and Philadelphia, this is an interesting one right here, Benny. Philadelphia laying 6. Detroit is on a 6-point road dog. The Eagles are beat up, though. I think I'm staying away from this one, Benny.
Yeah, I mean, it opened at 7, so it actually came back a little bit. People must have been betting Detroit for them to bring it down to 6 there. I mean, a healthy Eagles team to me beats this Detroit team pretty easily.
Yep.
But this isn't a healthy Eagles team. So, you got 4th and 5th wide receivers that are going to be playing, 70-80% of snaps here. You're down one of your top 2 tight ends. A bunch of guys on the defensive line are banged up too, which no one seems to be talking about with the Eagles. Again, with that defensive line being the strength of this team, as you start losing some of these guys, it becomes a little bit less of a strength and maybe something you got to worry about now. So, again, the Eagles probably still win this game, but I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's not even involved in my teasers or nothing like that. I may look at some props. The Cowboys have pushed up to a -22.5, 22.5-point home favorite. It's comical, Benny. I'll look at some of the in-game, single-game prop bets, with the passing and the touchdowns and stuff like that. In the beginning of the week, I was gung-ho about laying 21.5. Now I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying?
It's like, if you're asking me, like, if we're doing a pick 'em pool where you got to pick every game and whoever gets the most winners wins, I'm going to take the 22. I'm going to give it. Like, go ahead. Just give me Dallas. Take 22.5. I don't give a shit. But if I actually have to make, money out of my pocket bets on it, like, I can't take 22 on an NFL game. No. I just can't. I mean, I know they lost the last 2 games by an average of 46, but I still can't do it, Corey.
No, Dallas very well may cover it. And New England very well cover their 22. But I'm kind of not involved in it. It's kind of like, wow, you got to spend Saturday doing that shit. Oakland and Minnesota, this one has jumped around, Benny. It's at 9 now. It was started at 8. It went to 8.5. Came down to 7.5 for a little bit. Now it's resting in at 9 on Friday.
Yeah, so early in the week, I got in at 8.5, right? Like, I talk about it all the time. One of the most profitable teaser plays you can make is when you get a home favorite that's favored by, 7.5 to 8.5, because when you put the 6 points on it, you go through the 7, you go through the 3, you go through 4 and 6, which are also smaller key numbers. So it's one of my favorite things to do. So I got on this earlier in the week when they were -8.5. 2 or 3 different teasers that I have that have the Minnesota Vikings winning by 2.5 is what I need. I think the Vikings win this game. I don't want to take 8.5 or 9 points in this game, so I'm happy with the teasers I got. I won't be putting any more on it.
I agree. I followed your lead on this one. I got them in that teaser too. I got them at the time when I got them down all the way down to 2. And what I'll do, since 2 is it's no half associated with the 2, so you can't push on the teaser. I'll play the winning margin from 1 to 13 points. This way, if it blows the teaser up, at least I still have the other bet right there that I would hedge with, and you can actually hit both of them, and then that makes it twice as nice. Carolina and Arizona, Benny. I've been wrestling with it all week. I'm going to do it. Carolina is a 2.5-point underdog now. I'm going with Kyle Allen and the Carolina Panthers. I know, Benny. I know. Monday, I'm going to say Carolina ruined my weekend, but Benny, at least I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, I earlier in the week, I put a small bet on Arizona when they were giving 2 at home. So I got Arizona at plus money. I think it's like plus 1. Yeah, it's plus 130 something. I think 138, 135, somewhere like that. I will say this, though, Corey. Kyle Allen, if he does start, is only $4,000 on DraftKings this week.
Okay.
If he's going up against Arizona, which is a team that blindly you could probably win money by taking stacks against Arizona just because of the pace that they have played at so far this year. So I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be really popular. Greg Olsen, we talked about it last night. The two teams that Arizona has played so far, they opened the season up against Detroit. Humongous game from TJ Hawkinson at the tight end position. Last week they played Baltimore. Humongous game from Mark Andrews at the tight end position. They've given up at least 6 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown to every tight end they played so far this year. I really don't want to go all in on Greg Olsen, but Greg Olsen is under 4K. Kyle Allen's under 4K. You can easily fit Christian McCaffrey with those two guys and still have money left over to go get a lot of solid players to put in the lineup. So you can bet I'll have a Carolina Panther stack over on DraftKings this week, even though I do have money already on Arizona.
The New York Giants and Daniel Jones on the road in Tampa, catching 6 points. I'm leaving it alone, Benny.
What's the over-under in this game, Rat?
That's interesting. 48.
Oh, that's high.
That is. They must expect Daniel Jones to have some heat.
Well, I do too. That's why I was saying. I mean, this game, listen, the Giants, one of the things that I've noticed about the Giants is the teams that have played them so far, Dallas and Buffalo, have had long, sustained drives against this defense. This defense can't stop anybody. So I expect Tampa Bay to put up some points. And with Daniel Jones back there, I actually expect the Giants' offense to be better than it's been the first couple weeks. So I was hoping you were going to say like 44 or 45. I probably would have been, if it was like 42 or 43, I would have been all over this. I bet you, did this move, do you have the early week line on this? I wonder what it moved from when Eli Manning was there, because I bet you this was probably 5 points lower when Eli was there. I don't think this total was anywhere near 48 before Daniel Jones got announced as a starter.
That's a good point, Benny. I'll check that for you right now.
Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's keep going. We'll look it up later. But I would bet if you guys look later that, Vegas is probably expecting Daniel Jones to be better for this offense too, which means
honestly, it opened up at 47.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't have bet 40. I would have taken the under with Eli at 47. I do think this can get over 48 with Daniel Jones back there, though. So
the Giants. Go ahead.
I would like to tease this down. Like if you tease this down to 42, I'm happy with the over there. So I may consider putting this in a teaser right now, but I'm at 48's a lot of points.
The Giants team total, Benny, is 20.5.
I think I like the over there. I'm telling you, I think people are going to be shocked at the difference in this offense with a competent quarterback. And that's crazy to say because, Eli's a 2-time Super Bowl winner and Daniel Jones is a rookie. But if you watch Daniel Jones in the preseason, the guy's good. Eli's not at this point. I mean, I'm sorry to say.
Benny, Eli, you know how a quarterback steps into a throw?
Yeah.
He's not them to throwing the football and turning around. You know what I'm saying? Like
he doesn't want to get hit.
He doesn't want to get hit. He's not a football player.
He honestly, Eli Manning should have done. If Eli Manning was so worried about his legacy and doing the right thing and all that stuff, Eli should have walked away.
Yeah.
Eli overstayed his welcome. So I don't care. People are like, oh, you can't do Eli Manning like this.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. They gave him $23 million. If I give you $23 million, I'm going to do you any way I want to. You know what I'm saying?
Money Eli Manning has made playing football? $250 million. Yeah. I'm not worried about no goddamn Eli Manning.
Exactly.
Houston is catching 3.5 on the road with the Chargers. This is interesting one, Benny. I got it in a teaser. So I got the Chargers getting 3.5 at home. I like that. I don't know what to think, though, about this one, Benny. If I was to bet this straight up on this 3.5, I probably would go with Houston. But I don't know. I feel like the Chargers get off to a slow start every year. They very well could have lost the Colt game. They take the loss last week at Detroit, and I can see them losing this week too.
Yeah, I don't think it's really crazy. My biggest problem is what kind of Houston team are we going to see here, right?
That's true too.
Like, is Houston going to come out and try to be the high-flying aerial attack that they could be with the wide receiver options that they have and Deshaun Watson? Or are they going to try to do what they did last week and just control the game with their defense and pound the run with Carlos Hyde? I legitimately don't know what this team is. I don't even know how to break this team down for fantasy right now because it doesn't make – again, we talk about the play calling with Houston all the time. Their play calling makes no sense to me. So I don't even really know how to do it. When I don't have a strong feeling about something, I just stay away from it, Corey. And this is one of those games where I feel like just staying away from it is probably the best thing to do for my bankroll.
No doubt about it. The Saints and the Seahawks have hit that magic number. The Seahawks laying 5. The Saints catching that 5 on the road. I will actually lay the Saints in this one, and I might actually do it when I go to Jersey on Sunday morning to put my bigger bets in.
Yeah, I don't really want to touch this game. If I was going to, I like the fact that the Saints are getting 5 because the way Seattle plays, they don't blow anybody out. So the game's going to stay close. So even if I was teasing this game, I'd probably put the Saints up to 11 because I don't see Seattle beating anybody by 11.
Yeah, I have them in a teaser at 11. I do have that. I caught that earlier in the week. But now I'm thinking about the Saints too as the week progresses. Another one of my favorite bets of the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers. I love the Steelers in this spot, Benny. And listen, I'm betting against the 49ers every week. And I'm losing every week, Benny.
So listen, this is one of the things that I talk about with betting all the time. It's like when you think you found a trend, you stay on that trend until it loses, especially when it's making you money. I've been on the opposite. I've been on the 49ers since the beginning, and I'm not hopping off now. So
6.5, Benny?
Yeah. This was the other half of the teaser that I loved early in the week. I teased this down to San Francisco winning by a half, and I teased the Vikings down to winning by 2.5. So basically, I need the Vikings by a field goal, and I just need San Francisco to win. I'm not taking it at 6.5. I'm not putting any more money on it other than the big teaser I took early in the week. But this is still a game at 6.5 that if I was looking to tease something else here, this would be one of the ones on the top of my list that I just teased down to San Francisco winning by a half because I actually like Mason Rudolph. I think he's going to be okay. But I think there are a lot of things wrong with the Steelers that need to be fixed. And until I see some of them get fixed, I'm treating the Steelers like a middle of the road kind of team instead of top of the league kind of team.
I agree. They're no longer a top of the league kind of team. I just think that they can come together at this moment right here. Here's an interesting one. The Rams laying 3 at Cleveland on Sunday night. I go to Jersey, Benny. I put my bets in early Sunday morning. I don't even pay the Jersey Transit. I got the tickets, right? Mm-hmm. So what you do is if you get down there around 9, you get down there around 10 o'clock you'll get everybody going to the stadium, right? So the train is too crowded for the ticket taker to come.
Yeah.
So when I get to see Caucus, you have to see Caucus, you got to hit the scanner.
Yeah.
Go to the other side and come right back to New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just using the same ticket over and over. Which, it's a $14 trip, but still, Benny, that's $14 is bare money. I can see myself Sunday night calling Jim Day and saying Jim Day sprinkle something on the Browns money line.
I can see myself not answering if you text me if Jim's not around to put that bet with you because I'm trying to save you money right here, bro. I'm telling you, the Rams are going to kick their ass this week. The Cleveland Browns are not a good football team. They're not. They have not come together yet. If this is the week that they come together, that's fine. But if you watch that game against the Jets, and again, I'm a Jets fan, they weren't good. And to me, the Rams haven't done anything wrong yet this year.
I agree. Benny, I'm looking at the number, and I'm looking at the number, and it's not even really the 3. It's the -162, the Browns money line. That's a very parlayable money line right there. And I can see that ruining a lot of people Sunday night.
Well, again, if Cleveland wins, it's going to ruin my Sunday night and probably my next month or so because it was a sizable bet I already put in on the Rams. The Rams are my biggest bet so far this weekend. I think they're a lock in next game.
All right, and my biggest bet will be at FanDuel. FanDuel is running a promotion this week for Week 3 for people in the New Jersey and Pennsylvania area. What FanDuel is doing is on all Week 13 games, money line games, they'll up to $50 stake. If your team that you money line loses by 6 or less points, they'll refund the bet. Up to $50. The best team to do that with this week is Washington.
Washington is -3 already, right? Or +3 already.
+4 at home versus Chicago.
I like it.
That's
we both like them to win anyway, outright at home. So Chicago being a team that doesn't put up a lot of points, it'd be tough for them to win by a lot. I don't mind that. I may go do that. I didn't even see that promotion, but
$50 money line on Washington right now would pay back $83.
okay, that's not bad. I'll take that. Yeah, 50. So you get back. You bet 50, you would cash out for 133 if it happens.
Yep.
That's nice.
And if Washington loses by 6 points or less, which I don't think they will,
you get your $50 back.
So there you go, right there. So that's really it, Benny. That's how I'm looking at this week. That's how I play it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty excited about it. You know, we already went through the injury situations and the waiver situations to go through to be ready for this week. I think we've left our people in good hands, Benny.
Yeah, I think so. I will say this for people playing fantasy. If you're playing daily fantasy this week, it's an interesting week too, because you have it's kind of like a stars and scrubs kind of week, Corey, because you have some superstars in good spots that you want to pay up for. You know, Mahomes and Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Dak Prescott at quarterback. You know, guys like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott at running back. And then you also have a lot of like cheap guys, min-price guys, the Kyle Allens, the Daniel Joneses, all these new quarterbacks coming in. You know, all the wide receivers from the Philadelphia Eagles, if, you know, Alshon and Deshaun Jackson are out. You know, there's a lot of cheap guys and a lot of guys up at the top. So I think the proper lineup construction this week is going to be stars and scrubs. And the thing is, you can go stars and scrubs at so many different positions. You can pay up at quarterback, save at wide receiver. You can pay up at running back, save at quarterback. Like, there's so many different combinations of stars and scrubs that you can put in there. But I do think that if you're not building your lineups that way, it's a little bit crazy. I will give this one last tip out, Corey. I said this last night on a live stream too. Kyle Allen at 4K, Greg Olsen at 3,600, and Christian McCaffrey at like 9,000. That's a very nice stack to start a lineup with on DraftKings this week.
There you go, right there. Big piece of chicken. I got to give it to that quarterback from Tulane last night, Justin McMillan. So when they were coming back, Son had a drive where he probably missed about 3 easy touchdown passes. He went over to the sideline, offensive coordinator got in his ass, and then Son just like balled out the rest of the game, got the victory. So Justin McMillan, you get the big piece of chicken. What you got, Benny?
Yeah, I'm giving mine to the man who won me all the money last night. You know, the guy that was on all my rosters that pushed me over. Yeah, Gardner Minshew, man. I mean, the kid's legit. You know, listen. He looks like a porn star. There's no better person to be the protege of Big Dick Nick than a guy that looks like a porn star. But I mean, he could play, man. He made some of those throws he made. I know everybody loves the touchdown to DJ Shark, which was a really nice pass, and he put it in a tight window.
The pass to D.D. Westbrook was amazing.
Exactly what I was going to say. The pass he put before into double coverage right along the sidelines where nobody but D.D. had a chance to go catch it. I said, when he threw that pass, I said, wow, this kid gets it. For a rookie, he kind of understands things that a lot of these rookies or even some of the guys that, you know, have been in the league for a couple years, like Marcus Mariota on the other side, still doesn't seem to grasp with what teams are trying to do against them on defense. I think this kid could wind up having a bright future as an NFL quarterback. He's not going to be a superstar at any point, I don't think, but he's one of these guys like a Tony Romo or, you know, some of these other guys that come out of nowhere and stick around for 8 to 10 years, you know, like Gardner Minshew can play, bro. He can play.
Gardner is funny. The Jacksonville Jaguars went out and signed Nick Foles, and he breaks his collarbone in week 1, and all of a sudden, their quarterback of the future comes off the bench with a porn mustache. It's wild.
Yep. That's awesome. I love the I don't know if you saw my tweet last night during the game. After he threw the second touchdown, I said, in honor of this touchdown, everybody needs to go over to Pornhub and watch at least one Gardner Minshew video.
Well, my main man, Benny Ricciardi. I'm Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. The opening line, we are out.